Hello, church family. It's Wednesday evening, the Wednesday before Labor Day weekend, and I'm just coming to you tonight inside of our sanctuary. And I'm coming tonight with a message about waiting. But more than anything, I'm wishing that I had the opportunity to really speak through this camera and to be present to you, because I know, and you know, and we know that we're really made to be a congregation that is together. And so as we gather in our different ways over this Labor Day weekend, I just want to offer a few prayers even before we begin this time in worship. And I just want you to know that most of all, my prayer is that this would be a weekend of rest for you. And I really do pray that however you can find it, whether it's with your family, whether perhaps it's with a small gathering of friends, or even if it's just by yourself out in God's good creation, my prayer is that you would receive just rest, because you have been working hard. Each and every one of us has been doing some type of hard labor over the last almost 6 months. And yes, that's right. If you can believe that, it's true. It's almost been 6 months since we started this journey together. And in different ways, you have been pouring yourself out. Some of you, especially here in these last few weeks, you have been giving all kinds of energy as a teacher, as a parent, as an administrator, as a boss, as an employee. And I know for myself and for all of us, the reality is that every day that we wake up, we're having to process and have 4 or 5 more different steps that we're including in every single thing that we do. And so don't feel bad if by this point in the journey you just feel like you are ready to hear Jesus's words every single day. Come to me, all you who are tired and weary and who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. My prayer for you this weekend is that God would refresh you, mind, body, and spirit, in whatever way you need that to happen. If it's going outside for a walk, great. If it's spending time in silence, awesome. If it's being outside early in the morning with a cup of coffee and you just receive the gift of dew out on the grass and a mist out in the field, wonderful. Know that God looks upon you with deep love, and uppermost as well, I just pray that you would continue to remember that we are made for relationship. However we can make that happen, I am praying that we make that happen as a congregation. It is so vital right now that we find ways to be together as a church family, and we're going to continue to find creative ways to do so. But church family, I want you here. I miss you. Young families, I miss you. Children's time, I miss you. And so I just pray that in whatever way you can, whether it's stopping by your church or as we continue to give you other opportunities, that you would know that this is a place that you can return to. I also want to say this too. As someone who is a part of a young family, getting a little bit older all the time, I know that these first 3-4 weeks have been just jammed full of activity again. It's like we went from 0 miles per hour up to 60 miles per hour just like that. And so it's okay. Just remember, hold to your Bible, hold to your times of just stillness, and hold to the things that you had there in the beginning of this time that you said, I'm not going to give this up as a family now. That time of sitting together on a porch or around the dinner table. But tonight and over the weekend, this exercise that I'm going to give you is just a chance for you to spend some time in reflection. I'm going to ask some questions. I'm going to leave silence throughout this time. I'm going to try to have a little bit of fun with you as well. And then ultimately, I'm going to take you into a story. And I'm just going to give you one of the best things that's ever happened to me, which is using my imagination, my heart, and my head to really enter into a story. And I'm going to invite you to place yourself within one of the gospel stories and to use this as a way to just dwell with God. My prayer uppermost right now is that you would know that God is very close to you in this moment. There's so many things that are telling us this is not so. And yet we know that the reality is that God is with us, especially when we do not feel it. The scripture says through Paul that the Spirit groans within us when we don't have words, and that the Spirit is this presence of groaning even within us. And so as we enter this Labor Day weekend, let us take a moment to center ourselves before God and just recognize that it is in you, God, in whom we live and move and have our being, and we recognize that you have formed us within our mother's wombs, as your word says in Psalm 139, and that you have crafted us with wonder and majesty and intricacy. And so, God, let us just take a moment to give thanks for the breath of life within us. And God, as we begin to slow down and still ourselves, we remember what others have said to us, that God is present in stillness. So friends, let me give you an exercise as you go from this place on into the rest of the weekend or into your coming weeks. Take time to be still before God. Be still and know that the Lord is God. Can you give 5 minutes a day to let your shoulders relax, to let yourself just sense that God is with you, and just invite God's presence to sit down next to you and be present to you? Can you listen to and be aware of the tension within your body? Can you enjoy a moment of Sabbath rest? God, bless us with the stillness and bless us with the reality that when we anchor ourselves in faith, hope, and love in Jesus Christ, we have a place to stand upon that can move mountains. Jesus, give us a new assurance to not be helter-skelter, to not have a divided mind, to not have a divided heart, but to be one in spirit with you. Teach us in this moment again about the goodness of waiting and what you do in shutdowns. Teach us this Labor Day weekend to rest. I know a lot of us are going to have practices and we're going to have other things going on and we're going to have projects we want to do, but don't forget to be in the hammock. Don't forget to just talk with a loved one. Don't forget to make love. Don't forget to be present to your kids. Just be there. May God bless us today as we receive a little bit of the word, and I begin by reading to you the story that comes from Mark's gospel about the healing of blind Bartimaeus. They came to Jericho as he and his disciples and a large crowd were leaving Jericho. Bartimaeus, son of Timaeus, a blind beggar, a man whose clothes were dirty, perhaps torn, who had no agency on his own to get up and do things. He was sitting by the roadside. When Bartimaeus heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to shout out and say, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." And many sternly ordered him to be quiet, but he cried out even more loudly, "Son of David, have mercy on me." And Jesus stood still and said, "Call him here." And they called the blind man, saying to him, "Take heart, get up, he is calling you." So throwing off his cloak, he sprang up and he came to Jesus. And then Jesus said to him, "What do you want me to do for you?" The blind man said to him, "My teacher, let me see again." And Jesus said to him, "Go, your faith has made you well." Immediately the man regained his sight and followed Jesus on the way. This is, by the power of the Holy Spirit, the very word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Do you believe it can be true for you as well? I have a hard time waiting. I put on this exterior all the time that I can be calm and cool and collected, but I have the hardest time waiting, and I think all of us have finally gotten to the point where we're just like, how much longer is this going to go on? And the thing is, none of us knows. I don't know that you're as bad at waiting as I am, but here is how I know that I am terrible at waiting. It has to do with Paul's McDonald's restaurants, but also Kroger and also toll booths up in Chicago. So let me start with grocery shopping. I don't do the big grocery shopping for our family. I'm the guy that runs in and grabs this thing and that thing. And let's be honest, a lot of times I'm grabbing this thing and that thing for myself, like the potato chips or the coffee or the sushi or whatever it might be. And I have this strategy. I have always had it, and I definitely have it now that we're in this time of COVID. I have a goal to be in the grocery store and out in at least 5 minutes or less. I'm like that dad in A Christmas Story, you know, the guy who wants to change the tire in such and such a time. That is precisely how I approach the grocery store. So if I go in, first of all, I mentally know where things are, and I know exactly where I'm going to go to get my bag of chips and my Herdez salsa. I know exactly where those things are, and I might grab my little plastic bin to get some things if I need it, but I'm going to go and I'm going to get it. And I tell you what, if you want to get in and out fast, here's the thing you can never do. Don't go to an actual register with a real person, because then you might have to wait. So what I do is every single time I go immediately to the self-checkout line, and if it's a good day, there's like all 5 or 6 registers that are open. If it's a bad day, there might be 1 or 2 that's open. If it's a really bad day, I have to wait. If I wait, I just start to get a little bit antsy, and I'm immediately looking for that place, and I'm counting the person in front of me, how many more items they have to go. But when I finally get up and I'm doing the register, here's what I do. I put in my Kroger Savings Plus card, because you got to have those fuel points, and I start scanning and scanning and scanning, and everything goes great until something doesn't scan right, or I put it in the bag, and it says, "Attendant has been notified," and it comes up on the screen, and that just kills me. And so I'll look around, and it always seems like the attendant is over talking with another cashier. Worst of all, they might be over helping another customer, and I know I'm bad at waiting, because I will sit there like a little puppy dog that has to go outside and pee, and I will bounce back and forth and back and forth and back. And when I go to Chicago and we're going to go on the tollway, this is why I know I have a problem with waiting, because when I go, I become like a hawk, and I begin to look for and to identify where the next toll booth station is, and I immediately get over to the right, and I begin to identify what I know will be the fastest toll booth, but I absolutely cannot stand it if I go to the one and I have to wait, and I have to wait. I might be the guy, and this is where I come back to Paul again, but I might be the guy that if I want to go get a McDouble and fries and a Coke from McDonald's, and it's about lunchtime, I will pull into McDonald's and I will go around to the drive-through side with the 2 lanes. I mean, 2 lanes, it's going to go fast. They're always fast. But if I see the cars are backed up, I will pull around and I will pull right back out and go on and maybe come back the next day. I'm the guy at Dairy Castle that if you're ordering, the nachos and the coney dog and the taco salad, I will back my car up and leave, because I will not wait. And this is why we all have a problem with it, because we don't like to be out of control. You see, we have been living for the longest time with an illusion. Myself especially at times, but all of us, especially as Americans, but anyone in this 21st century world, when you can hop on your phone and you have the agency to order something and have it in your driveway within 2 days. We operate in so much of our lives, and this is what we have been trying to get back to, in this place where we feel like if we just try really hard, if we're smart enough, and we are smart enough, and we know how to manage things and manage people in my day, I can get things done. Get her done is the motto around here. And yet what this has done for us, and this is a great gift, this is where Sue Monk Kidd's book is so helpful to us, it absolutely destroys the illusion that we are in control. Bartimaeus is a great gift to us, because Bartimaeus is not in control in any way in his life. How long has he been waiting? How long has he been by that place waiting for someone to show up? How long has he been sitting there wondering, am I just going to end my life like this? Is this going anywhere? Bartimaeus gives us the great gift of realizing that we're not the ones in control, and that's okay because God is, and maybe what God is doing right now is taking some of that control out of our hands and saying, trust me, I've got this. What thing in your life are you having a really hard time giving up control about right now? Your daughter's senior year of high school? The way that other people are behaving in our community in regards to mask or not mask or whatever it might be? Your ability to be with your mom in a nursing home? That trip you were planning to take as a retired couple and you thought, these are our go-go years, now's our time to get out there and see the world, and now you have lost control, and can you just give it up this Labor Day weekend? Can you let go of the control a little bit? Sue Monk Kidd says the first great gift that we receive when we are forced to wait like Bartimaeus is to just let go of the need to be in control. Number two, we receive the great gift of letting Jesus be Jesus to us. We are so trained to be a self-reliant people. We are so trained to walk around this world and to think that if we don't get the job done, that A, it's not going to happen, or B, we're going to be seen as being these slothful people, as these inadequate people. And so we have to prove to other people that we can do it. We can earn enough money. We can do this. We can do 50 million things. We can manage the crazy schedule of 2 different sports and school and homework and dinner, and it's okay. Because when we give up control, we allow Jesus to be Jesus to us. Do you know when Jesus goes to the Garden of Gethsemane and he's there with his disciples, they thought they were in control of that whole thing? And they thought they were moving life towards this great triumphant place, and they were pushing it. And yet Jesus says, hold on, guys, shut down. We're going to learn how to wait. We're going to learn how to be patient in this place of waiting for God to come through, even in our absence of being able to force things to happen. And so Jesus, he says something very interesting. He says, sit here while I go a little further ahead and I pray for you. I wonder right now, can you take time this weekend to let Jesus pray for you? I mean, can you take time to let Jesus be the one who is just attending to you in whatever place you are in? Whatever mental and emotional exhaustion you have been carrying and you have been afraid to tell other people about? Can you allow Jesus to know deep within your heart what is concerning you, what you're afraid about, what you're hopeful for, and can you just pour that out and then just sit and wait and let Jesus pray for you? Sue Monk Kidd had a really good friend of hers. They were both going through midlife stuff, and she was struggling and her friend was struggling, but her friend realized one day she was trying to do prayer all wrong. She kept showing up in prayer, and she kept trying to be active. And so she learned that Jesus' great gift to her is just to simply let Jesus pray for her. What do you want Jesus to pray for you right now? What do you want Jesus to know about? What burden are you carrying? What trial have you been afraid to name to other people? What part of your life or family or business just seems too heavy right now? Can you just say, Jesus, please take this? Sue Monk Kidd's friend did something else that's very brave and very courageous, and I commend this to us as a spiritual practice as a family. She would invite a trusted friend to come over, and she would just say, I don't want you to pray out loud for me. I just want you to sit with me, and I just want you to be here with me as Jesus prays for us. Do you know someone in your life who can pray for you right now? Can you find that person and just sit in silence? If you're fortunate enough to have someone to hold you, can you just embrace somebody and together let yourselves experience Jesus coming around you and putting his arms around you? Number 3, let Jesus care for you by entering deeply into the story of Scripture and let the words come alive to you. Don't just read the text, but enter it. Allow it to be something you imagine with your head and your heart. And let me give you this exercise on this Labor Day weekend. If you want, you can close your eyes, you can stay with me, you can watch me, but I'm going to just share the story. I'm going to read it again, and then I'm going to take you into the story, and I just want you to put yourself into the place of being Bartimaeus. And I just want you to receive this good news. Friend, where are you like a beggar right now? Friend, where can you drop the pretense? Friend, where can you drop the need to show other people that you're in control or to keep lashing out about this thing or that thing and then just sit down and find yourself? Jesus and the disciples came to Jericho. As he and his disciples and a large crowd were leaving Jericho, Bartimaeus, son of Timaeus, a blind beggar, was sitting by the roadside. When Bartimaeus heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to shout out and say, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." And many sternly ordered him to be quiet, but he cried out even more loudly, "Son of David, have mercy on me." And Jesus stood still and said, "Call him here." And they called the blind man, saying to him, "Take heart, get up, Jesus is calling you." So throwing off his cloak, he sprang up and came to Jesus. And Jesus said to him, "What do you want me to do for you?" And the blind man said to him, "My teacher, let me see again." And Jesus said to him, "Go, your faith has made you well." Immediately he regained his sight and followed Jesus on the way. You are Bartimaeus. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. You have been on the roadside all day. It's early afternoon. This is your spot. This is where they bring you early in the morning after you've had a bit of bread. This is where you come to just sit and beg and be. You are blind. You cannot see the things around you. You cannot figure out on your own where to go. You feel like life has become difficult. You have heard these stories of a man from Nazareth, a carpenter, the son of a carpenter, a man of great spirit and compassion, a teacher, a wise man, and yet not trained like other rabbis, and yet a man of great power, of signs and wonders. You begin to hear a crowd coming towards you, and you wonder, could it be him? Could this be Jesus? You feel your excitement, but also your desperation. You feel the anxiousness. What if other people make fun of you? What if you call out and he passes you by? What if you raise your voice and no one hears you and they walk and you're just left there in the afternoon sun with no rescue? And yet somehow you muster the courage. "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me," you cry out. there was all kinds of noise. There was all kinds of clamor. And you say it again, Son of David, have mercy on me. And yet the crowd speaks out against you. Be quiet. They're antagonistic against you, and you feel them pressing you and pushing you and wanting you to be to the side. And you feel like the world around you is hostile. So much division. So much anger. Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Jesus hears your voice and says, call him here. And they come to you and they begin to pick you up, and you begin to try to stand on your own, and yet you can feel the crowd still pressing against you, and yet the crowd begins to open up, and you feel this passage. You can sense a man of great warmth, dignity, truth, and compassion before you. And as you approach him, you hear him speak these words to you, and you listen and you ask yourself, what do you want me to do for you? Friend, what do you want Jesus to do for you this Labor Day weekend? What do you want Jesus to do? Is there a burden you're carrying that you want to be released of? Is there a blindness that you want to end? The blindness of fear? The blindness of trying to preserve our own life, our business? The blindness of not being able to fully love the world around you? The blindness of just not being able, period. What do you want me to do for you, he says, and take this time right now to just tell Jesus what you want him to do. My teacher, let me see again. Jesus, open my eyes not to see the things of this world, but to see your kingdom. Jesus, open my eyes to see your church. Jesus, open my eyes to see people in need of salvation. Jesus, open my eyes to love your world again. Jesus, what needs to happen for me to fall in love with you again? Go. Your faith has made you well. Go. You don't have to know where you're going. You don't have to know every step. Just get up. Go. Keep moving forward. And the man followed him on the way. What do you need to leave behind right now in order to follow Jesus? Maybe this waiting season is about learning that we've been on the wrong path. Maybe this waiting season is about learning that we have been creating our own roads of success and power and satisfaction. And all it's doing is creating a busy thoroughfare of division and noise and chaos. And Jesus says, I am the way and the truth and the life. Rest in me. You don't have to have it figured out. You just have to follow. A Sabbath rest remains for the people of God. God has not abandoned us. Jesus is even now coming to us In the imagination of our heart and mind, Jesus is present. I am the one who was and is to come. Jesus says, I am the Alpha and the Omega. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord's face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance and give you peace as you truly enjoy this Labor Day weekend. God bless you, brothers and sisters. I'm so grateful for you. May we be the people that spread God's love, because this community needs to know that we love it deeply. And it needs to see that we are the people who move into the places in our community that are hurting and that need this experience of the real Jesus loving them for who they really are. God bless you. We'll see you soon.